My name is Paul Gulino, and I am a screenwriter and a screenwriting teacher, currently teaching at Chapman University, and currently working on a screenplay, a novel, a web series, writing, producing the web series, in addition to um, writing other projects. So, and I also try to play soccer once a week. So those are my main objectives right now. I began an interest in filmmaking when I was about 11 years old. My father had a Super 8 camera, and we would make movies. And we did we played with animation, stop action animation on this camera. We made a short comedy when I was, a silent comedy when I was 11, when I was 12, and featuring our dog as the horrible monster. It was called The Horrible Monster. It was ironic. She was not horrible, but we called it that. And when I was in high school, we would make movies, silent. When I was 16, my dad got a Super 8 sound camera, which has the sync sound. And so we pursued more projects, sometimes connected with a school project. Sometimes it was just for fun. And when I was in college, by that time we were making a project every summer. My friends and I, we would make a movie. And the summer after my freshman year, my first year in college, we actually started paying attention to the process, the filmmaking process, and actually watching movies and studying them to see what they were doing. It was the first time it wasn't just goofing around. And we shot a spaghetti western. And it started as a parody, and eventually by the end of the summer we were trying to make it authentic with actual horses and renting a cabin, etc. And at the end of that experience, I went back to college and mentioned to a friend that we had spent the summer studying movies and making this movie. And he said to me, well, why don't you take a course in filmmaking at college? And I was shocked. I didn't know there was such a thing. And he said, well, look. And I found at the catalog, I went to Columbia University, they actually had filmmaking classes. I'd never heard of that. I thought I was going to be a philosopher, maybe a writer, maybe a journalist. I didn't have any idea about that. And began to take courses in filmmaking. That was my path to see about trying to write for cinema. And during the years afterward, I wrote in theater in New York, wrote screenplays, had some recognition with festivals, competitions that give a writer hope that something is happening. And then I was able to get an agent. And after I moved to California, actually before I moved to California, I got one that didn't work out. Then I got another one who worked hard and was able to get a deal. I was able to sell a script, and it wound up getting made. And the way it works in Hollywood, maybe it's different in Sweden, I hope it is, but the script was a good one, and it was a very fast read. It was based on a real story, and it sold quickly, and it got greenlit. It's going to be produced, and then it got a director. And I met with the director, and he only wanted to change two things: the characters and the plot. So the script was almost completely rewritten, and it was, let me say, disappointing. But it was it validated my learning. I had shown that what I had learned was valuable, and that meant I could teach it. Because I also was inspired by his teaching to teach it. And I would do it informally, but I never wanted to be a teacher until I had done the whole thing, written something, got it sold, got it made, and then went on and did something else. So I did get another movie made off of a pitch, a kid's action picture. And then in the years since, I've had options for different projects, some works for hire that didn't get made. And I began teaching at USC Film School part-time. And then in 1998, I had an offer to teach at Chapman University. And we had a dean who was very active building a new film school. And so that's where I've been since. And it's a good school. And I've always, every year, trying to study movies and learn a little more and build on what I had before.